It's about solving a problem. That's why I became an engineer.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
That man is playing Galaga. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
Hi there. Welcome, my friend, and welcome back to Mr. Fred's Tech Talks, the podcast from GetMeCoding.com, where we make learning to code, exploring tech, and building confidence fun and approachable for kids, parents, and teachers. I'm Mr. Fred, your host, lifelong tinkerer, college professor, and former Marine officer, and I am here to tackle another conversation about coding. Okay, in episode 3, we tackled what is coding. So if you haven't heard that, please go back to listen to episode 3. In that, I stripped away the mystery and talked about how coding is just giving instructions to a computer. But today, we're answering the next big question. Why should you learn to code? And even with artificial intelligence becoming part of daily life, the answer might surprise you.
Talking about gadgets, games, and gears. AI buzzing in your ears. Parents, teachers, kids unite. We're learning tech and doing it right. Oh, it's a tap, swipe, scroll kind of show where zeros and ones are ready to go. From old school DOS to robots that talk, we're jamming with Mr. Fred's Tech Talks.
Okay, now going into this episode, I've been hearing from so many people about the changes that artificial intelligence is making on our careers. Software programming is one of them. Whether you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, a biologist, an engineer, software developer, technologist, AI is going to have a role. Now, with that being said, let's go a little further. Okay, in my blog post, Why Learn to Code, it's found over at GetMeCoding.com, I break it down into 3 big reasons why you should learn to code. All right. First, it gives you problem-solving superpowers. Here's how I like to explain it. Telling someone to learn to code only so they can become a programmer is kind of like telling somebody to build puzzles only so they could become a professional puzzle builder. That's not the point. Now think about that for a second. How many professional puzzle builders do you know? But yet we all build puzzles. You build puzzles because it sharpens your mind. It improves problem solving and it teaches persistence. Right? Do you ever build a puzzle? You find the edge pieces and you connect them all up. Then you start looking in the other pieces and you see where they fit. You think you found one that fits and you go and you try to fit into that spot and it doesn't quite fit. So what do? You try another one. Coding works the same way. It trains you to break problems into smaller steps, test them out, and then think logically. Whether you're debugging, well, that means finding errors, a website, or figuring out the best way to organize your garage, which I have to do. Those skills translate to everyday life. Now, I want to back up a little bit and talk about how I explain persistence. Persistence is the ability to work through a problem. Problems are challenging, and the one thing you really don't want to do is give up. If you give up too soon, you may not get to reap the rewards, as we say. What does that mean? Let's talk about competitions, whether they're athletics or academics, like the Science Olympiad or a baseball championship. We go through the day-to-day challenges of working on getting better, whether it's a team or whether even you're on your own, maybe playing tennis. You're constantly battling yourself. You're making yourself better. And sometimes the best thing about that whole process is how you are preparing, how you're growing, how you're getting stronger. Winning, as they say, isn't everything. And really the journey that you take to get to that championship, even if you don't win, is the most important part. At the time of this recording, I had just completed my final summer orientation experience at the college level. So during the summer, students that are going to be heading off to college for the fall usually go through some kind of orientation program. And at orientation, they get to meet maybe some of their professors, but they'll meet people who are known as advisors, and they'll help them schedule their classes. During these events, I get the honor to speak with parents and share with them some observations that I've made over the past 2 decades of teaching. And I also give them some advice, having had 3 young people go through college and beyond. So when we get together, one of the things I do make note on is the challenges that are going to be coming up in front of their young people when they enter the classroom. Having just come out of high school, you kind of figure it all out. You know what's going on. You get into a really good routine. It's pretty predictable. But then all of a sudden, a whole new routine is upon them at college. I've noticed over many years now, the one thing that we can do better is help continue to build our young people to be better problem solvers, meaning be more persistent to work through the problem. And that's where coding, once again, can come into play. Science, technology, engineering, and math, also known as STEM, or science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, STEAM, or STREAM, science, technology, religion, engineering, arts, and math. They've all been great initiatives over the past decade to introduce technology concepts to young people, to consider careers, and so on. And coding has been part of that. But I've noticed that some students don't get to really experience coding and then also developing this persistence to solve problems. Obviously, it could happen to a certain degree with math, and I touched on that in a prior episode. But I think all in all, coding being introduced to a young person, whether it's part of their day or maybe once a week, can really help them develop a persistent problem-solving mindset, meaning they will work the problem and work through the problem. Okay, let me just paint one final picture with this whole persistence thing. I'm sure you're familiar with what a turtle is. They have a hard shell, kind of rounded, and they have very short legs. Very short arms, I suppose. When a turtle gets turned over on its back, it has an awfully hard time getting itself right again, back onto its feet. And it gets stuck there, and it could actually die there. Well, that's sad. With persistence in us as humans, we don't want to be like that turtle stuck on our back. We always want to have that drive to work through the problem, to get ourselves back up and get back into it. And that's really the mindset you want to have. And I'm hoping if you're listening to this and you're a young person, that's something that you would want to have. All right. Sorry, I didn't want to go off on a sidetrack there, but I just wanted to share that because coding can help develop a skill set that builds persistence. All right. So that was the first thing. Coding helps problem solving. Makes you a superpower. It gives you a superpower. All right. Second, creativity is unlocked. Coding isn't just math and syntax. Syntax being how you type it. There's certain rules they have to follow. It's building, designing, creating something that didn't exist before. You can make games, apps, tools, anything you could dream up. I share the second one here because I think it's something that I didn't realize. I've been working with software and computers since I was, 12 years old. And it took me a long time to understand that it's incredibly creative. I think because it's a science, and science often feels very rigid, and it could be very, this is what you put in, this is what you get out type of mentality. But it is incredibly creative. And that may be one of the very, very important skill sets or abilities that we develop in young people going forward in the age of AI. Look, AI is not going anywhere. It's a tool, and it's a pretty helpful tool. But we may find out very soon that if we see in our world what we call a gap, a problem, if you want to call it that, or maybe more directly, a need, we might be able to turn to AI and work with it to solve that problem. But it's going to take a creative mindset to do that. If we don't have that creative mindset, we could easily miss out on some amazing discoveries in the very near future. So that's why I feel like creativity can be unlocked through learning to code. All right, that's the second one. So what's the third one? I'm glad you asked. Career and future opportunities. From engineering to healthcare to media, coding is becoming a core skill, even if you're not a programmer. Knowing even just the basics of coding and how technology gets assembled to build your solution makes you a better team member. It'll give you the ability to understand what are the other team members going through and some of the challenges that they may be facing. All right, that's the top 3 reasons. Problem-solving superpowers, unlocking your creativity, and ultimately career and future opportunities. Now you might be thinking, but Mr. Fred, if AI can write code now, why should I bother learning it? If you haven't been paying attention to what AI is doing in the field of software development, I could tell you that you can type an idea as a prompt, they call it, when you prompt the AI, and it will generate code for you. I've had a wide variety of experiences with code generated by the different chatbots, whether it's Perplexity, Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot. They've all generated something with an error. Now, not an error that was cataclysmic, but an error. And once I saw it, I had to address it. But I've also seen other tools emerge that are doing a wonderful job of generating a website and even to some degree a smartphone app just simply by explaining to the chatbot in great detail what to make. Now, there's some complexities though on the backside of that. How do you update the code? How do you actually get it out to everybody in their hands? So there's some complexities that still will require software development knowledge. But here's the thing. AI is a tool, just like a calculator or a power drill. If you don't understand the basics, you won't know if the output is correct, how to tweak it, or, like I said, how to make it do exactly what you want. Or if you don't understand the problem you're trying to solve, how will you know if you've arrived at the correct solution? So learning to code means you're not just a user of tools, you become a director of them. You can spot mistakes, ask better questions, and create smarter solutions. In the future, the people who understand both coding and AI will have a real advantage. So, where does that really put us? Well, I think it puts us in an amazing place with some amazing opportunities. I see nothing but upside. Sure, you could look at all of this as really scary stuff, and I think that's what Hollywood would love for us to kind of take in, because if you grew up in the 80s and the 90s, you went to the movie theaters and you saw movies like The Terminator, and you saw how everything was being taken over by these robots and so on. That tells a good story. It sells tickets. It just gets people to come and see it. It's like sadly watching a train wreck, right? People want to see that, or a car crash, unfortunately. But I think that there's a lot more upside and a lot more positivity that's coming for us if we want to embrace it that way. So keep all these in mind. All right, it's time for my tech tip for this episode. If you want to explore coding and AI together, try Scratch. Guess what? With AI extensions now, it's still a block-based coding tool, but it lets you tap into AI features like image recognition. It's a fun way to see how coding and AI can work hand in hand. You should check it out. I'll link it in the show notes, and I would love to hear what you make with it. There's a lot of neat things you could build there. Oh, guess what? I have something else I want to give you here. I want to add in a challenge for you this week. Think of one problem you have in your daily life, and then brainstorm how coding could help solve it. It could be something as simple as automating a list, creating a budget for your family so that you could track it. Maybe it'll be making a game that you could share with your friends. And if you're brand new, start small. Try one of the beginner projects I have over at getmecoding.com to get you going. Look, anybody could do this. You'll be surprised at how quickly you start thinking like a coder. thanks for joining me here on episode 4. Mr. Fred's Tech Talks continues to roll along. And again, if you missed episode 3, What is Coding? Go back and give it a listen. It sets the stage perfectly for what we talked about here today. And if you enjoyed this episode, as always, please subscribe, share it with a friend, and leave a review. And then check out my blog post, Why Learn to Code, for more examples and resources. Until next time, keep tinkering, keep exploring, and remember, technology is a tool. It's what you do with it that counts. See you in the next episode.
Adventures out there.